from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My name is Michael Rhodes, and my son is with me. And I'm freezing. Take this off. I'll put it back on if I need it. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor. When I was a little child, about maybe 5, 6, 7 years old, I would put on my father's fishing hat. I would put on his big rubber boots, and I would walk around the house imitating my father. Maybe you did that when you were younger. But we tend to imitate those that are important to us when we're that age, those that mean a lot to us. Sometimes we imitate their habits. Sometimes if it's a game day or something, my father would wear that East Carolina University jersey, and we kind of still do it to this very day. But this morning I want to introduce us to the scripture that we're going to go over. Paul says that we should imitate God. And it made me think of me imitating my father as a child. We're going to be in Ephesians 5, 1 through 21 this morning. So if you have your Bibles or your phones, your apps, whatever, just flip to it. Give me a second. All right, starting in verse 1. Imitate God, therefore, in everything you do, because you are His dear children. Live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. He loved us and offered Himself as a sacrifice for us, a pleasing aroma to God. Now this morning we're going to talk about healthy spiritual habits. And if we're going to imitate God, I think our first habit will be the habit of walking in love. As we see, Paul tells us to live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. Christ loved us enough that He died for us. He had a sacrificial love, agape love. He loved us in spite of our sinful ways. And that's the kind of love that He wants us to have. So our first spiritual habit, healthy spiritual habit, is walking in that kind of love. And in order to walk in that kind of love, Paul gives us a list of things to do and things not to do. So picking up in verse 3, Paul starts with this list. It says, "Let there be no sexual immorality, impurity, or greed among you. Such sins have no place among God's people." And I agree. I'm sure we all agree. If we're walking in love, we're not going to be out having sex with people we're not married to. We're not going to be after someone else's spouse. We're walking in love. We're not going to be sexual and immoral. We're not going to have impure thoughts. When we're walking in love, love does no harm. And these things won't be a part of our life if we walk in love. He goes on and says in 4, not to tell obscene stories, foolish talk, and coarse jokes. It says these are not for you. How often do we get caught up in jokes and foolish talk sometimes? When I read this, I stand up here guilty. I get caught up in that mess just like everyone else, it seems like. But Paul's telling us to watch ourselves. That some of it's probably harmless, but a lot of times it could harm someone, and especially if they got to the ones that we may be talking talking about. But Paul says this is not for God's people. This is not the way we should be acting, and we shouldn't be doing this. He says instead that we should be thankful. Instead of wasting our time on foolish talk, we need to thank God for our salvation. We need to thank God that He loved us enough to adopt us as sons. We have so much to be thankful for. We shouldn't have our time filled with foolish talk, jokes, and all that mess. And then he goes on further in verse 5. It says, you can be sure that no immoral, impure, or greedy person will inherit the kingdom of Christ and God, for a greedy person is an idolater, worshiping the things of this world. That's pretty harsh. Now, I know people that worship things of this world. I know people that love their cars more than they love anything else. I know people feel that same way about their house. Sometimes it's easy to put things first in our life and make that our focus. And Paul's warning us about that. We shouldn't have those things in our life that take us away from God's kingdom, to take our focus off of what's going right. And he says that kind of person won't inherit the kingdom of heaven. And then he tells us about the kind of people to look out for. And once I read this, and we read this, you'll probably think of someone. But don't be fooled by those who try to excuse these sins. For the anger of God will fall on all who disobey Him. Don't participate in these things these people do. For once you were full of darkness. How many times has anyone experienced a time where someone says, come on, you can have a drink. It's not going to hurt you. I've heard that before. I'm from Myrtle Beach, and that's a big thing where I'm from, partying and stuff like that. Come hang out with us at the beach. We're gonna party up. God will forgive you. Those kind of things. You can take a little bit of that money. They have plenty. Maybe a job or something, you might think. But we're not to be that way if we're walking in love. If we were God's children, we don't walk that way. Paul continues by saying, but now you have light from the Lord. So live as people of light, for this light within you produces only what is good, right, and true. Now this is our second healthy spiritual habit, and that would be walking in the light. That's what I call it. When we walk in the light, it means that we're doing what God wants us to do. And what does light do? It makes things visible. If we had no light in here, we couldn't see anything. So when we walk in the light, we're transparent. We have nothing to hide. We're good. And light does make things visible. And Paul goes on saying, in verse 10, carefully determine what pleases the Lord. Take no part in the worthless deeds of evil and darkness. Instead, expose them. It is shameful even to talk about the things that ungodly people do in secret. But their evil intentions will be exposed when the light shines on them. The light makes everything visible. Now, as Christians, if we see someone in sin and we love them, we need to call them out. because we know that one day we will all stand in front of God in judgment. So that's our duty as a Christians to let our brothers and sisters know when they're wrong, out of love, and try to encourage them and build them back up and get them right with God. And then what really got me, and I didn't really know a good example of it, well I do, but I didn't know how to share it in church, would be it is shameful even to talk about the things that ungodly people do in secret. And I thought about that on the way here. I asked my son, I said, what do ungodly people do in secret? I thought ungodly is probably pretty bad. And if it's probably pretty bad, it's probably really bad to us. So we're just going to leave it at that. They're doing some things that we're just not ought to do, and we won't get into all of that. And then Paul goes into a quote. This is a quote not out of the Bible, it's out of some old ancient writings. And it says, this is why it said, wake, O sleeper, rise up from the dead, and Christ will give you light. I think that he's talking to Christian people. This letter is to Christians. And this is a call to Christ for them. That may have been tricked by these people that tried to deceive them. They made bad choices, but he's saying, wake up. Wake up and get with the program. Rise up from the dead. And live for Christ. He's ready. He's willing. He's waiting. And now, after this morning, we're going to get into our third and final habit of a good, healthy spiritual life. And that's walking in wisdom. Now, we're going to start with that on verse 15. So now we have walking in love, walking in light. Now we're going to walk in wisdom. So be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. Don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do. It sounds like something I tell my son. Be careful, be careful. Don't do that or do this. But be careful how we live. People are watching us. We might not know it. It might not even seem like it sometimes, but I know my son watches me. I can tell that when he was little, putting on my clothes and acting like me when he was a little fellow. The days are short. Time is running out. We're only given a certain amount of days on this earth. So let's use our time wisely. And let's think about how we can be effective for the kingdom of God. Because the days are evil. The days back then are evil. Today is evil. Tomorrow is evil until the Lord comes back. So let's prepare. Let's be ready. And let's share Christ. Don't be drunk with wine, because that will ruin your life. That's my translation, my life. I kind of like that's why I use the Bible there. Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit, singing songs, hymns, and spiritual songs among yourselves, and make music to the Lord in your heart. And give thanks for everything to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Don't be drunk on wine, because it will ruin your life. Point at myself. When you're drunk on wine, not that I've ever been, but I can imagine that your thoughts aren't clear. You probably aren't too focused on too many things. You might be focused on a lot of different things. I'm not sure. But be filled with the Spirit. Don't be under the influence of something that takes you out of your mind. But be influenced by the Holy Spirit. Be filled with God's Spirit. Be sober-minded. Be ready. Be thoughtful. He's calling us to be alert, to be a sober mind. And then, when we're filled with the Spirit, I know when I'm filled with the Spirit, I'm singing me a little hymn or a song. We're to worship God when at all times, but really, you should want to worship God when you're filled with the Spirit. I know I do. And give thanks to God for everything that He has done. He has blessed us tremendously. And the last verse is, in my Bible, it starts a whole other section, but it's verse 21. And further submit to one another out of reverence of Christ. You see, when everything's going great, and we're the super Christians, it seems like sometimes, everybody's looking to us for advice, and let's don't set up too high above everybody else, because we're all the same. Christ came for all of us. If I see my brother not doing so well, my sister not doing so well, I'm doing great, I don't need to look down on them. I need to look over at them and grab them and let them know that God loves them, that I love them. And that's what I think that Paul's saying here. We're to submit to them. We're to show them attention. It might not be the sharpest pencil in the crowd. Might not be the well-dressed. But God died for them just as well. So this week, for the rest of your life, let's put these 3 spiritual healthy habits to work. To live up, to walk in love, to walk in light, and to walk in wisdom. And if we do these 3 things, we'll be ready for whatever storms that this life goes at. Go with me, God, for this prayer, please. God, thank you for this day. Thank you for your word. Thank you for loving us and not to send Jesus to die for our sins. Father, I pray that we can take your word and apply it to our lives. Father, I pray that you forgive us where we have fallen short. Father, I pray that we stay alert, we stay thoughtful, that we always wear love on our sleeves. Father, bless this church this week. Bless us as we go out in this world and about business. Father, I pray that we glorify